Hey guys, what's up? Evan from Stock Music Musician. And today I've got a fun video on how to make hip hop in Reason. Now this is a video geared more towards beginners, people who are either coming to Reason new or don't have much experience making hip hop beats. If you've got either of those, then you might not find this that useful. But what we're going to show you today is how to come up with a drum part using a couple different tools. We're going to show you how to cut samples, chop them, slice them, using both Rex and using some of the sequencer editing here. And I'm doing it pretty much all with stock instruments that come standard with Reason. And then I've used a few extra samples to sort of fill things in. So if this sounds like it's you, stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more great Reason tips. And give this video a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing so far. All right, so let's listen to what we've got here. We've got an 808 drum kit in a Kong. This is just sort of a standard drum programmer. Then for hi-hats, what we're going to do is we're going to take this loop here, and I'm going to show you how to cut out the kick and the snare part of the drum and just keep the hi-hats there so that we can have a rhythm without having to program it, and it'll sort of sound organic and cool and interesting. Then we're going to have this little vibraphone part here, which is in C. I know that because that's what the sample told me. We're going to take this piano part here. Oops. And we're going to chop it up using Rex to just get the parts we want. We've got this little vocal sample here. So this is sort of going to be a little Latin-y flavor. And that we're going to chop up using the sequencer to fit in. And then we've got an 808 bass for the bass line. Although we might switch that up. I don't know if it's going to be quite the right sound. So let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is take this hi-hat part here. And let's mute this for now. And so we're going to time stretch it by holding the option and stretching it to be the same length as the song. So this will now match the tempo of our song, which is at 120 BPM, which I usually find to be a pretty good place for starting out the song. Then as the song starts to develop, I might bump it up or down. So let's solo just this hi-hat part. So we want to cut out the low end frequency. So I'm going to open up this EQ here by clicking on this knob. I'm going to select the high pass filter and slide it up. We're going to start listening to the loop. And once you stop hearing the other drums and just the hi-hats, that's where we want it. A little bit of snare is fine. So now with that in the background, what we're going to do is we're going to start programming in the drum beat. So I'm going to draw in a section here in the sequencer on the 808 drum kit as opposed to the 808 bass. And you're always going to have the first hit being a drum hit. And usually it'll be the third hit, so that we don't even need to worry about it. So everything in between, that sort of is where the art is. All right. Let's see about this. I like to do the kick first, especially here we've kind of got a little bit of guideline on the snare. So let's see. All right, and usually hip hop, the snare is actually on the backbeat or on every upbeat, so we'll at least put them here. And we'll do a little drum fill at the end. I'm going to raise the volume. So you notice I have two different drum samples. So, or snare. And we'll maybe fill in. Let's see about. I don't think this is going to be the right spot. No. Let's see that. Back to the beat. Yeah, that's more like it. So that's a good starting spot, and then we'll layer some claps here on at least these major downbeat hits. And what we're going to do is we're just going to move them forward ever so slightly to give them a bit of a like flam feel, and we'll turn down the volume of the claps. I'll turn them up so you can hear them. We'll move them a little farther forward. That was just too far. There we go. Gotta have some cowbell. So. We'll maybe do. Again, it's all about where's your downbeat, where's your upbeat. No, that's good. And let's put a crash on the first hit. I think we want to turn this crash down. Alright, so that's sounding pretty good to me right now. One thing we're going to try is putting a groove on it. There's this groove mixer which basically puts a shuffle, a very stylized shuffle on your programming to make it have a little more swing and a little more human feel, and it can really be helpful in bringing songs to light. So we'll try the 58 shuffle, which is a pretty good one. That's right here, so that's a good, just no. So let's listen to it off. No. I don't know that I'm liking that one actually. So let's try Mothership. No. And Dr. Dog, what do you got for us? No, we're not gonna do any shuffle today. We'll go straight. All right. So you got to experiment to see what works. The next thing I want to do is we're just gonna use this vibes part for today. We'll just like that, but we're gonna put a few effects on it to make it a little more interesting. So the first thing I want to do is use the Audiomatic Retro Transformer, our favorite friend. And I think it's PVC that I'm looking for. That just has a touch more interest. And then I'm going to add a little, maybe an alligator to the gate. instead what we're going to do is just get some gating going on with the pump sidechain gate effect, one of the best plugins you can buy for Reason. Basically is a sidechain. You hear it adding that motion. And now we'll add a little delay because the ducking's gonna make it sound kind of cool, I believe. A little glitchy. We don't want any offset. Alright, there we go. Now we got some of this moving. And let's bypass everything. Straight, not as much motion. Let's just try this. We're gonna go with VHS instead. Okay. So now what I want to do is take this piano loop here. Normally it would play as a loop, right? But instead what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, it's an F, so we've got to tune it to C. We're going to transpose it. Here, piano. So I've shifted it down 5 semitones, so it'll be in the same key as the vibraphone part. But what we need to do, I don't want to just play it as a loop, I want to chop it up. This is what it would sound like. If I just let it run. But you can also play each of these slices, these individual slices, with your keyboard. If you select the right thing down here. Just to make them light up, you hit select slice by MIDI. So now I'm going to just try and put something in. To keep it from stop running, automatically I have to hit disable loop playback now. Alright, so now let's record that. I've got a little bit of lag here, so I'll have to fix it. But, nope. When you record, you also want to set up pre-click. This will give you 4 clicks before it starts recording. I didn't like that. Let's do that again. Let me lower the buffer. Okay, so it's just, this buffer should be fine, but it's because I'm using the audio capture software that it's a little off. Nope. Okay, so we've got this. We'll zoom in to fix it. I'm going to hit 8th note quantize, just to make sure that the notes are on the right spot. We'll add a third one here. Let's see what the... No. Alright. Let's see what we have. We'll use a reverb. We could use a reverb to make it so the notes are just a little short, but that's how long the sample is. So we're going to use a RV7000 reverb just to draw this out a little bit. All plate spread is probably like, oh, let's see what else we have. Let's do the medium hall. Alright, and what I want to do is also add a delay there, just to make it bigger. I'll just do a simple. The oldie but the goodie, and I think I want the delay before it. We're going to set it to milliseconds, just make a really short, slappy type thing. Turn down the dry wet. That's more or less what we're going for. Increase the size of the room a bit. Less pre-delay. Might even throw another delay on there. That's more like it. But what we're going to do is we're going to use that as a send. And I think I actually already have that set up. Here, all first plate as a send. So we're going to go to the mixer. And instead of putting it in the middle of it, we're going to send it. Send the, what is this called? F Love Laws piano. So you should name your tracks better than this, but that's where we are. Now we gotta do the bass line. So this 808 I don't think is the right sound for this because it's already got a bit of a bell-like tone to it, and that's not really what we want here. We want because we've got vibraphones and things like that that already have a bit of a belly sound. So I want something rounder. So I'm going to go with, I'll just keep it as a Reason device. But we'll do the NNXT sampler. And I think you've got a upright here, yep. So this is an upright bass. And we're going to actually layer an 808, I think, after. I don't know. Maybe it's something lower frequency than this, but. Alright, so let's quantize you. Let's just make sure that worked. Duplicate devices and tracks, but I'm going to change you into a what I was expecting. Alright, so we need to open the browser, or I can build something from scratch, but who's got time for that on a live video? So, but it's not about that. Alright, let's see what the 808 bass actually sounds like. Okay, so it does actually work. You hear how much it fills it out on the low end, but it didn't have the right attack. Click down. Of course, the drive helps it cut through. Probably can't hear that on your speakers unless you've got decent mixing speakers. But it's alright, now we've got this vocal sample, and I want to show you how you can chop it up in the sequencer. And this will be basically the last thing we do for this video today. And then you will have learned how to put together a hip-hop-ish beat in Reason. Let's just select everything. We can stop turning solo on. We don't need no mutes. Alright, so. So the first thing I want to do is stretch it, and then we'll chop it up, but we're not snapping to grid. So we're going to hit undo there, hit S to snap to grid, and like I said, you hold Option and drag. So now the vocal should be in time, but not in time. And let's right click to stretch type, and it's already on vocal, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do is zoom in here real good. Make the waveform bigger so it's easier to see. And select the razor blade tool here by hitting R. It's not going to be any crazy chops or anything, but I just want to sort of isolate these parts so that we can place them exactly where we want them. I actually want that to go a little longer, so I'm going to stretch it longer and we'll see. Too far. Too close to the sun. Alright, let's go back to the original. And what I'm going to do is edit the slices here by going to slice mode. So it's the oh that I want to. Can I push them all back a bit without it getting weird? think so. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. Now let's get this starting at the right spot, which is probably right here. All right, and those slices are way off there. Let's speed it up a bit. Close. B4. All right, so there you have it. We basically put together a quick beat, hip-hop beat in Reason, hopefully not too long, and you learned how to use a few of the different instruments that are included in Reason, a few different ways to approaching sampling, some layering ideas you might want to consider with hip-hop, all that good stuff. Hope you liked this. Be sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed it, and if you got any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thanks.